Hello and thanks for joining me on Life in Surround. Today I'm going to be reviewing King Crimson in the Court of the Crimson King 50th Anniversary Edition. I'm going to be comparing it to the 40th Anniversary Edition. This has been highly requested ever since it was announced that the 50th Anniversary Edition was going to happen. One of the reasons is that for the 50th Anniversary Edition, Steven Wilson, who over the last decade has become basically the most prominent surround mixing engineer, at least in the prog world. I wouldn't venture to say that is true in classical, jazz, and other genres. But at least in the prog world, and there's a lot of crossover there into rock and pop, Steven Wilson is the king. He mixed in the Court of the Crimson King into 5.1 for the 40th Anniversary Edition. It was among his first 5.1 projects. When King Crimson decided to do the 50th Anniversary Edition, they decided to take another crack at the 5.1 mix. I think it's wonderful that they have done so, because for a long time I have felt that the 5.1 mix for the 40th Anniversary Edition left a lot to be desired. Now, it does have a great reputation in the surround world, and I'm among the vocal few who really haven't enjoyed it very much. But the big question that I have gotten numerous times over the last few days is, if you own the 40th Anniversary Edition, is it worth double dipping to get the 50th? As usual, I like to give the bottom line up front. It is. The 50th Anniversary Edition is a must if you like King Crimson, if you like In the Court of the Crimson King, if you are into surround. Even if you're not, the 50th Anniversary Edition comes with instrumental mixes which are revelatory and, in my opinion, fascinating and well worth the $30 price of the set. You also get the original mix with original mastering in high resolution on the Blu-ray. Those two features alone, in my opinion, make this worth the $30. The Blu-ray is basically a box set on a Blu-ray. You get the 2019 5.1 remix. You get the instrumental versions. You get an alternate version of the album put together through session run-throughs and outtakes and parts that are isolated and so forth. You get the original mastering. You get a video clip of Schizoid Man from Hyde Park in 1969. You get a lot of that material replicated across 3 CDs. So if you're like me and you still have a CD player in your car, this box set has a lot of value in terms of audio content. It's also really wonderfully constructed. They've gone to a completely square representation instead of rectangular, which in my opinion makes it feel more like the original LP. I think that the color grading more closely resembles the original, and I simply like it better. This is more of a pink hue than an orange one. The box is a heavier construction than the 40th Anniversary. It's got 2 double gatefolds. I'm not going to completely unbox it here because I just did an unboxing a few days ago. It has a wonderful booklet with images that fans of the band say had never surfaced online before. So there's a lot of value there. The essay I also found to be very informative, and it actually helped me appreciate the importance of this recording way more than I ever had before, especially in the sense that In the Court of the Crimson King was massively influential to a lot of bands that I care about. And in the wake of learning that Yes upped their game in terms of songwriting and rehearsal due to seeing King Crimson in that first incarnation gigging live, all of a sudden I realized that during the opening track, Schizoid Man, around the 2-minute 10-second mark, is the obvious inspiration for Heart of the Sunrise. Now, sort of tying some things together, Steven Wilson, a few years after the 40th anniversary edition, mixed Fragile into 5.1. This is also a remix because Fragile was mixed earlier, I believe in 2001. And that mix was okay. For a long time it was actually a demo quality disc for a lot of people. But Steven Wilson absolutely obliterated it with his remix. And lo and behold, Heart of the Sunrise is on here. And, you know, it just goes to show that Steven Wilson, if you look around my room, you'll see a lot of Steven Wilson remix projects. He gained a lot of experience in the 10 years from 2009 to 2019 and brought that experience to the 50th anniversary project. So let's talk about the mixes. This is life in surround, so the 5.1 mix is the most important thing to a lot of people watching this video. I have long held the 5.1 mix on the 40th anniversary edition to be pretty tough to listen to, at least in a number of spots, particularly where the vocal and the electric guitar are playing against each other during Schizoid Man. That's a very harsh passage. I've always felt that the 5.1 mix, the 2009 version, was lacking bass presence in the bass guitar, the kick drum, the organ parts, leaving the mix sounding pretty shrill. And I am happy to report that the 5.1 mix for the 2009 version has massive bass presence. It feels very balanced. It's more dynamic. It's warmer. It feels more natural. It's more listenable to me. Other than in the sense that King Crimson meant parts of Schizoid Man and parts of In the Court to be somewhat challenging and abrasive, the recording, I believe, now is presented in the most enjoyable way possible. Sonically, I think it's on par with the other 5.1 mixes in the King Crimson reissue series. Per Steven Wilson's usual, you have the main vocal usually isolated in the center channel. You have drums dominating up front in the left and right. Bass is situated mostly in the front left and right, though sometimes bass solos are isolated to the center channel. Robert Fripp often is up in the front left, and Ian MacDonald is often in the surround right. Vocal overdubs are often dominated in the surrounds, and you do have standout moments where Robert Fripp's guitar goes spinning around the room, where mellotron, organ parts, or even saxophone parts also likewise bounce around channels or spin around the room. So when the mix is set statically, it works really well. Each of the parts have ample separation and are seated in such a way that you're immersed and you feel surrounded by the band. And then there are also moments where the mix gets daring and gets just as explorative and experimental as the source material. So, bottom line, do I recommend picking up the 50th anniversary edition of In the Court of the Crimson King? I absolutely do. The 5.1 mix is a bit more balanced and intuitive and faithful to the original recording. The sonics sound warmer, more dynamic, more natural, and more pleasant, at least to my ears. You get the instrumental versions of the songs. You get an alternate run-through of the album. You get the original mastering. You get all of this in high resolution on the Blu-ray, and it's in 96K now, not 48K. You have the choice between DTS HD Master and LPCM. This package is very well thought out. It's a tremendous value. At least before it goes out of print, you can get it around $30, which is just awesome in this day and age where box sets are $100 plus and have a whole bunch of stuff that you don't want. This is a pretty economical package. Now, a larger box for In the Court of the Crimson King is slated to come out next year. So it probably will have all of this material and then a bunch of live stuff or whatever they choose to include in it. I bet that this is going to satiate me. I've tended not to go in for the King Crimson huge boxes, except for Thrak, and I really do love that box. But I totally recommend the 50th anniversary edition of In the Court of the Crimson King. If you are into King Crimson, this album, 5.1 mixes, or any of the above, you owe it to yourself. Pick this up. If you enjoy what I do, if you value what I do, don't forget to give a thumbs up, subscribe, share the video, leave comments below. It all helps YouTube think that surround music is important, and it helps my mission for getting surround music out to more people in this world so we can all enjoy it together. So I appreciate you watching, I appreciate your support, and until next time, live life in surround.